about 2 weeks later, his daughter ended up living with my wife and I for about 2.5 months. And the goal was to get her clean, get her detoxed, and get her into Teen Challenge program down at outside of Mount Jackson in Basie. So we started learning a lot about heroin, and I'm curious, I always like to ask, does anybody here know a drug addict or a family member of a drug addict? Anybody? Look around, guys. Look how many hands are up. I mean, this is prevalent. Matt hit the nail on the head. This has no social boundaries, no racial boundaries. It has no boundaries at all. And it's unreal how far and wide it reaches. And we started learning about that. And what really, aside from the addict, I understand the addict makes the choice and they take the drugs, and I understand that. But what I didn't realize is the impact on families. And we were out at the Church of God one night, the coalition that Bobby mentioned, has a support group or a group for family members of addicts that get together. A fellow named Brad Hill leads that. And I was there with my friend Russell, and his daughter decided to come along with us as well. I don't think she knew what she was getting into, but she was there. And what I realized was the impact on families, on our families here in the community, that the impact is tremendous. And we don't get to see that often because it's hidden. Folks don't, it's embarrassing to say, you know, my kid's a heroin addict, or it's not socially acceptable in a lot of circles. But while there, I heard one lady say, I hate my son. I don't ever want him to come home with him. Look, drug addicts lie. They're selfish. They steal. They deceive. They mislead. I mean, they're everything that, they're like the people Jesus hung out with.
Right.
The bad news, they're not someone you want to be around. They're not much fun to be around at all. Another lady said, I got so fed up with my son, I told him, I said, why don't you just go kill yourself? Well, he got arrested and tried to hang himself out here in the jail. And she sat there crying, telling this story. Her son's still a drug addict. But it's a yo-yo for the family. They have hope. They invest money hoping they can send their child or their family member to a program that they'll get clean. And we've heard stories of people spending $30,000, $40,000 on programs. 6 months later, the family member comes back and they're still a drug addict. And we spent a lot of time thinking about this, Alicia and I did, and we talked. We finally came to the realization, which we should have known all along, that Ephesians tells us what's going on in Ephesians 6. This is spiritual warfare. It's nothing other than that. I know it's described as a medical problem, and there's a medical component to it. I understand that, but this is nothing short of spiritual warfare. And we also realize that in John's gospel, Jesus says, hey, the thief came to steal, kill, and destroy. That's what he's here for. But that's not the end of the story, right? Because Jesus said, hey, but I came to give you life.
Right.
Big time. That's Tim's translation. And in mid-December, the young lady who was staying with us left us. She just walked out. Didn't say anything. No goodbye, no thank you, no nothing. Just left, and we never heard from her again. And because I know her father, I would ask him every once in a while if he had heard. He said, well, yeah, we got a call, and she said she was sexually assaulted. We got a call, and the place she was staying, they kicked her out. Or she was staying someplace, and they were having they were all shooting up, and she didn't know what to do. And this went on for about 3 or 4 months, and finally I got the call that I'd been waiting for. And that is, hey, she said she's done, she's ready to go to Teen Challenge. We're taking her down. And she's into her 4th week now. And we're delighted, and everything I'm hearing back from my friends at Teen Challenge is she's doing well.
Good.
But my story, and the point of my story is, there are a whole lot of family members that are hurting, that don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. And I can't tell you I have all the answers. Alicia and I learned a lot about addiction. We learned a lot about enabling. We learned a lot about codependency. And all the things we were seeing this young lady go through. She was 25 years old. She was married. Her and her husband, they were codependent. I mean, they both like to shoot up heroin. That's what they did together. face of. It's sad but true. And, you know, so we learned a lot about how this works and what to do and what not to do. But in the end, if it is a medical problem, we know the great physician, and we know he can heal. All you have to do is ask Sue on a Sunday morning, ask her about her cancer. And we have hopes that our community will be healed. And I appreciate Wanda calling this meeting because, again, I've come to the conclusion this is a spiritual issue. And it's hard for Winchester Medical Center to treat a spiritual issue and help us get resolution. And the more churches we can get engaged in praying and actively working on this, I do believe the better off we'll be because this is the Lord's battle, it's not ours, and we need Him to intervene on our behalf. Now, there's a component for us, I realize that, and obviously, I would not necessarily encourage you to invite a heroin addict to come live in your home unless the Lord directs you to do so, because it's challenging, but there's a component for us, but certainly prayer and allowing the Lord to do this thing here is paramount. And Doug Abner talked a lot about that when he was here. And that's my story. So.